What's going on, everybody? This is Living in Arizona Now, and today we're headed up to the Grand Canyon. We're starting out here in Williams, which is known as the gateway to the Grand Canyon. This is where the Grand Canyon Railway begins. We're going to be checking out around Williams, show you some of the wildlife, show you some of the scenery, and then we'll actually head up to the Grand Canyon. So this is going to be an action-packed Arizona day trip travel guide for those of you who love Arizona. We just did Sedona, Flagstaff, Verde Valley. If you've already seen those videos, great. If not, I'll put the links down below. These are for people who love to explore Arizona. That's what we know you guys love to do. Williams is located about 40 minutes west of Flagstaff along the old highway Route 66. That's what you'll see out here, lots of Route 66 history. They've also got Bearizona and the Canyon Coaster, some waterfalls, which we'll also be showing you here in a moment. But you can see this is just walking around the old historic area of Williams. Nice place to get a bite to eat, a burger or a steak or something like that. They often do street shows where they do shootouts. I've seen that here. So really a nice place to stop along the way to the Grand Canyon in between Flagstaff. Williams does sit at 6,700 feet elevation, so it does get 4 seasons. It's actually named after Bill Williams, who was out here exploring around the Kaibab National Forest. He was a mountain man and a trapper as well as a scout. Population here is 3,000 people. And here is a look at that Grand Canyon Railway that you would actually board to go up there to the Grand Canyon. Now, where we're headed is to the Canyon Coaster Adventure Park. So this is the summer mountain tubing. They got winter tubing, and then they got the Canyon Coaster ride. So if you're coming up here, definitely check this out because it's a fun place. I mean, Williams is really known as kind of like the adventure area of north central Arizona. Riders over 54 inches are $20 per person. Small children 38 to 54 inches are $10, and you can do double riding, but the driver needs to be over 18. All right, we've now arrived at Bearizona. This is like a wild animal park with North American animals for the most part, bears, wolves, reindeer, and a variety of other types of deers as well, mules. Weekdays, adults are $30 per person, that's age 13 to 61. Children 4 to 12 are $20. On the weekends, it goes up to $35 for adults and $25 for kids. It is a drive-through wild animal park, so definitely don't get out of your car, but it spans over 158 to 160 acres. And you drive the route. It's about 3 miles long through Ponderosa Pines. There's also a walk-through zoo section called Fort Bearizona, covering about 20 acres where you can actually stroll and see animals exhibits in an interactive kind of experience. Really just focusing on North American wildlife species, like I said, including the black bears, grizzly bears, wolves, including the Arctic and tundra wolves, bison, mountain goats, elk, some bobcats. We love seeing some bobcats, right? Some pronghorn, some beavers, and much more. More than 50% of the animals here in the park are actually considered rescues. Bearizona is open year-round, rain or shine, and it opens at 9 a.m. The last car can come through around 4 p.m., but the park closes completely at 5:30 p.m. On site here, they do have a restaurant called the Canyonlands, and they have the Bearizona gift shop. Then they also have a grill called Bearizona Grill. I would say if you're coming up from Phoenix and you want to do Bearizona and the Grand Canyon, what you can do is you can arrive here at 9 a.m. and then just do 2 hours at this Bearizona and then drive up to the Grand Canyon, be there around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, hang out for a few hours, and then come back down to the valley. Or you can head up to the Grand Canyon, get there early, and then come back down and do Bearizona on the way back down to Phoenix. But I'd say if you got a whole weekend, why don't you just stay Friday and Saturday night up here and really explore around the area, do the Canyon Coaster, go to the Grand Canyon, ride the railway, check out Bearizona, and then you got a nice weekend for relaxation. I did notice they have some other animals who are from outside of North America, especially the birds. They do have a bird show with a hornbill. From what I know, that bird comes from Southeast Asia. And along with that bird show, they actually have a porcupine show. So there's just a real fun experience. The kids are going to love this place. So after spending some time here in Williams, checking out Bearizona and the coaster, what we're going to do now is we're actually going to make the drive up to the Grand Canyon. From Williams by car is about an hour to an hour and a half. Not too much traffic, although once you get closer to the park around Tusayan, that's when you start to see the traffic start to build up, especially in the summer months, around the holidays, etc. We ended up at the Grand Canyon in the evening time, and we stayed at the Bright Angel Lodge, had some dinner. The next morning, we ended up checking out around the Bright Angel Trail, but this was in September. Nice time of year to be at the Grand Canyon. We're up here at around 7,000 feet elevation on the south rim. It gets a little bit higher up, actually, on the north rim. One of the cool things about staying the night here is you get the sunset and then you get the sunrise, assuming you're the type of person who wakes up early enough. But those colors at sunset and sunrise, really nice over the Grand Canyon. Definitely, if you've never done that, you should consider it. Most people only come up here in the daytime and they never get to see those colors. But experiencing the great wide open outdoors up here in the open canyon up above on the trail, that's when you just start to feel the stress leave your body. That's why it's good to get out of Phoenix or any sort of city wherever you're coming from for a couple days and spend it in nature, because you'll actually feel recharged by the time you get back to work the next week. And of course, if you wanted to actually hike to the bottom of the Grand Canyon, you can do it. This here Bright Angel Trail is the most maintained trail of all of them. There are multiple turnaround points, 1.5 mile, 3 mile, 4.5 mile, but if you took it all the way down to the Colorado River, you're looking at 9.5 miles one way. So that's about 19 miles round trip. If you're not the type to hike it, they do have mules. Now that's up to you whether or not you want to take a mule. It's just an option. I personally have never ridden a mule down here. I just walked, but some people take those. And they've been doing mule rides down to the bottom of the Grand Canyon or along this trail for decades now. So this is just something that they've been doing for a while now. And up above the Grand Canyon, back to the top now, they have a place called the Kolb Studio. It's a historic photography studio. You can get some great viewpoints of the canyon. Just walking around the top of the rim is amazing in all directions because of the amount of viewpoints you get, looking north, looking south, looking east. I mean, you get just great views, great pictures. Like I said, especially at that sunrise hour or sunset. If you did plan to go to the bottom of the Grand Canyon, you should book ahead of time. It's only accessible by foot, rafting, or by mule. You can get down here and buy a raft if you're up for an adventure, but you definitely need those reservations in advance if you're planning to go to Phantom Ranch. Backcountry permits, they are required for overnight camping. If you're trying to do rim to rim, that's about 21 to 24 miles depending on the route, but you can do that. Obviously, you wouldn't be spending the night if you can get from rim to rim in the same day. Just make sure you bring lots of water and do take into consideration the heat down there, especially during the summer months. I would say the best seasons to hike are probably April to May or fall, autumn, right now, September, October, because you get a balance of cooler weather in the evenings and then not so hot in the daytime, but a little bit warm. Also less crowds up here in the Grand Canyon during those times. For those of you who are planning that trip, I will say just don't even really try it in the summertime because it can get up to 100 degrees down there. And going down, people seem to do all right. It's coming back up because remember, after you've already gone down, now you've got to come back up again. And that's when people really start to feel it. And that's when the rescues start happening. Hydration is critical. Then you need to carry at least 3 to 4 liters of water. Use electrolytes for replacement, so make sure you're getting that. Also, food and snacks that are salty or high energy options. Those are the best. But try to avoid hiking up during summer months from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. when it's the most hot. But really, if it is your first time, you're not feeling too adventurous, maybe just walk the trail a little bit, maybe a quarter of the way down or something like that. See if you can get a feel for it, and then see if you'd want to go beyond that. But there are a lot of switchbacks and crossing over that some people just, they don't realize. Once you're going down, you've got to think about the fact you've got to come back up. So I would say there's more than enough to do up above or just walking down a little bit and kind of getting a taste for it that way. But the rim trail up here, really a nice view all around. Up here they also have the Hopi House. It's a historic shop. They got the gifts, Native American authentic arts and crafts, and it's a big rock structure, the Hopi House. Going in there, you feel the Native American energy. Then they have the Verkamp's Visitor Center. That's a good place to go if you want to get information about hiking the trail or going around the forest, the Kaibab. You know, if you wanted to go up towards that north rim without having to walk from rim to rim, you'd have to drive all the way around Horseshoe Bend, through Page, over Lake Powell's Bridge at Glen Canyon Dam, and then drive all the way back over until you get into the North Kaibab. Up there, man, at nighttime, I've never seen so many stars in my life. The only other place that had that many stars in the sky was in the Big Island of Hawaii. Really, I'm not kidding. It is star-spangled up there in the sky. Along with the Bright Angel Lodge, they also have the El Tovar Hotel here. You can see both of these are historical lodges and hotels in this national park. I mean, people have been coming here for well over a century to the beautiful Grand Canyon. It's been a famous American landmark for years now. I mean, this is one of the most famous places in the world, and certainly in the United States. I mean, when you think of best places in the U.S., you're going to think Grand Canyon, maybe Yellowstone, Yosemite, but Grand Canyon's always up there. And you'll see why when you get here. But yeah, if you wanted to spend the night up here, they do have a few hotels. They have that Bright Angel Lodge, which is around $240 a night. If you wanted to stay at the Thunderbird Lodge, that one's about $346 a night. You have Kachina Lodge, that's around $434. So it just depends on how much you want to pay, but prices do vary. I have seen El Tovar be a 4-star hotel, also around the $400 to $500 range. Just really depends on availability. I mean, if you wanted to stay right there on that rim and availability is at maximum capacity, the prices are going to be higher. That's one of the benefits of going off peak season in a shoulder season in the middle of the week. That's when you're going to find the better prices. So maybe a weekday in the middle of October, better prices. If you come in like November, December, there could be snow on the ground, which kind of makes it fun, but it's a little bit chilly or brisk. Just depends if you don't mind that snow, because up here at 7,000 feet elevation, yeah, you're going to get some snow, some frosty mornings in December, January, and February. This area we're at now is the Yavapai Lodge. This is another area just off to the east of where we were showing you around the Bright Angel Trail. So there are several different little villages or areas that you can stay along the Grand Canyon. They also have the Grand Canyon West, which is just so far away from here. It's actually closer to Las Vegas than it is to Phoenix by a long shot. But yeah, it just depends on what part of the Grand Canyon you want to go to. Is it the north? Is it the West Grand Canyon? Is it this area of the Grand Canyon? This seems to be the area where most people from Phoenix go. It's that West Grand Canyon area. But here you've got that Yavapai Geology Museum for those of you who are into geology. And I get it. There's only so many viewpoints you can get of the Grand Canyon before you're like, wow, okay, I've seen the views, right? So you need more activities besides just viewpoints, and that's what's cool about this here geology museum, or any of the museums in the area, the visitor centers. You get that additional information that makes the experience a little bit more enriching. Obviously, having some lunch up here at one of the lodges or one of the hotels, that makes it nice. And because the Grand Canyon is just so big, like there's so many rim areas to explore and get views, I wish we could show it to you all in this video, but it would take so long to film that. Although I will say that if you guys wanted a North Rim Grand Canyon video, we can actually go up there and get that for you. The thing is, they had a big fire over the summertime and the lodge burned down, so it would kind of be a good idea to go up there just to get an update of what's going on, although we're entering into winter, which means it's going to be a bit frosty. I mean, I even went up to the north rim of the Grand Canyon in July. It was 115 degrees in Phoenix during the daytime, but when I woke up in the morning at the north rim of the Grand Canyon, it was 39 degrees. That's what's kind of cool about Arizona. You can have like the hottest place in the country and the coldest place in the country in the same day. Did you know that? Now, just keep in mind, as far as getting too close to the edge here, you don't want to do that. It doesn't matter how cool you think the picture is. I mean, getting too close to the edge, that's an unfortunate situation that happens with some tourists. They want to get out there, get those close pictures to the edge, and I mean, you can see it online. I mean, those stories are all over the guys who fall into the Grand Canyon. You don't want that to happen, so make sure you always follow all the rules and stay well away from any sort of cliff's edge without any sort of railing or anything. You don't want to go to anywhere you shouldn't be. But what we're going to do now is we're actually going to head south. I'm going to show you around Tusayan, which is actually the south entrance to the Grand Canyon National Park. This is where they have a lot of restaurants and some hotels. So if you wanted to save a little bit of money, you don't mind being away from the actual rim. Although if I'm going to go up there, I want to see and stay on the rim probably. But this is an option. I mean, you're within 30-minute drive of the rim. So I mean, you wake up at 6 in the morning, you get there at 6:30, you got the sunrise, right? They also have the helicopter tours. That's another way to really get an awesome experience of the Grand Canyon. I mean, flying over in a helicopter over the Grand Canyon. How awesome is that flight, right? And you can get more information about that if you go over to the Grand Canyon Airport. You're not going to be able to arrive on like a big jumbo jet commercial aircraft yet. Maybe they'll have that in the future, but over here you'll see their fleet of helicopters. Look at these. If you wanted to go up in an actual helicopter and see the Grand Canyon, depending on where you originate the flight, if it starts here at the Grand Canyon, then the price is going to be $339 per person for 25 to 30 minutes. That's with Bell Helicopter. If you go with Grand Kingdom, that's a Eurocopter, that's $479 per person, and it's 40 to 50 minutes. But you can get that upgrade, which is possibly available, as the front seat upgrade. If you guys wanted to contact them, contact papillon.com. They've got the information. All right, so if you guys are going to come up here on a day trip from Grand Canyon, so if you guys are going to come up here on a day trip from Phoenix, you're going to go through Flagstaff, through Williams, and then up here to the Bright Angel Trail area. That's about 3.5 hours. It's 230 miles. If you go to the Grand Canyon West, it's a little bit further. But this is the closest point, 3.5 hours, pretty good. Make sure you prepare for that if you want to be there early in the morning. You know, you got to get up 5 in the morning sometimes to get that good early morning kind of sun. But again, we did a whole road trip. We went to the Verde Valley. We spent a day there. We went to Sedona, spent another day there. We went to the Flagstaff area, spent a day there. If you wanted to duplicate this route, I would say plan for about 4 to 5 days exploring north central Arizona. You can also watch our other videos. I'll put links below. I would recommend watching them all, including the Verde Valley, Sedona, and Flagstaff, as well as the Grand Canyon that we just showed you. And we will see you on the next one. I'll actually put a link right here to Flagstaff so you can check out Flagstaff next. Click that link right here.